Welcome into another episode of 345. I'm your boy Els the Truth. I hope you locked and loaded because we got a very big show for you today. We got highlight packages and breakdowns for more than 10 players. We got international players to watch for in college basketball. Without further ado, let's get it started with what's happening in the WNBA. One of the biggest surprises so far this year for me, unfortunately, has been the Dallas Wings. As you guys know, if you follow the show, I picked Arike Ogunbowale before the season to win MVP. Now with the team sitting at 3-10, she got virtually no chance at winning that thing. She is putting up some great numbers, and we got a nice little package for her later in the show. But for now, as far as leading this team, she's doing it for sure, just not leading them to wins. To be fair, they did lose Natasha Howard early in the year. I thought Jacy Sheldon would be starting at point guard by now. She barely getting off the bench. And when I look at this team, I really point kind of at Teaira McCowan. She really not taking the step that I thought she would have. Anytime I see this team go up against faster, quicker front court players, they just have no chance of stopping them. And I'm talking about A'ja Wilson, Brink, Napheesa Collier, Arike Ogunbowale. Anytime they went up against those players, they got destroyed. And I know they'll never do this, or at least not anytime soon, but I think it's time to start developing Stephanie Soares and giving her a lot more playing time. She a lot more quick, a lot more nimble. She a way better shot blocker than Teaira McCowan and Kalani Brown. And with her, you're not losing no height. She's 6'6", and she a shooter, which those two are not. I'm not gonna just say, oh yeah, the team missed Satou Sabally. When she come back, they gonna be fine. No, this team got some real problems, and they really need to make some tough decisions. But now, check out how good the Minnesota Lynx been playing. And you know me, I'm fair. This is another team that I was completely wrong about. I'm going to tell y'all when I'm right, but I'm going to also tell y'all when I was wrong. I had them as kind of a middle of the pack team. Didn't really expect much from them because they didn't really add any big pieces over the offseason. But the key acquisitions they did add, Courtney Williams, Natasha Howard, and Napheesa Collier and Alanna Smith have just elevated their games to a whole nother level. Napheesa Collier currently averaging 21 and 10. Her defense, though, has been ridiculous. During my New York Liberty review, at the end when I had the Bree versus Fee, I kind of told y'all how much I really liked Fee. And I don't know why I ain't stick to my guns, because I knew she was a top 5 player, but not like this. She's elevated the level of play of everybody on this team, on the offense and the defense. This team even lost Diamond Miller after 3 games, and they still been trucking right along. Shout out Kayla McBride. K-Mac is averaging 17 points this year, which is the second highest she's ever had. Considering this being her 11th year, she is aging like fine wine. She only a 3-time All-Star. She hasn't made the All-Star team with Minnesota yet, but I think she'll be making it this year, no doubt. Courtney Williams, she also playing very solid running the team, looking like a real floor general, averaging almost 6 assists per game. And then Alanna Smith, my God, what a shot blocker. She finished 3rd in most improved voting last year, but looked like she might be creeping up on that award this year because she's averaging 3 more points, more assists, 3-point percentages up, field goal percentages up, free throw percentages up. The success of the Minnesota Lynx can be pointed directly to the players just simply playing better. And now, our rapid-fire recap of the top 5 scorers in the WNBA, starting at number 5 with Loyd. As of this podcast recording, Loyd is currently averaging 19 points. To be honest, Jewel just been out there chucking and dunking and getting buckets. She only shooting 35% from the field, 25% from 3, but she been money from the line, 86%, and that's where she been getting most of her points. Currently, Loyd has 7 games with 20 or more, including a season high of 32 points against the Indiana Fever. But now, coming in at number 4, a team we just talked about, a player we just talked about, Napheesa Collier. Not only is Fee one of the top scorers in the league, she also very efficient at scoring. Currently shooting 46% from the field, 50% inside the 3-point line. She's taking 17 shots a game, which is the most that she's ever taken in any season. And Fee, she got 8 games with 20 or more, including 2 over 30. Her season high was 31 points against the Connecticut Sun. Last season, Napheesa was 1st team all WNBA and 2nd team all defense. But I think this year, she gonna be 1-1. Now coming in at number 3 is KFC, Kalani Copper. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you subscribe or got WNBA League Pass, you need to go check out some of these Phoenix games because the way Kalani Copper has been playing is unreal. We need to start calling her video game Kai with some of the shots she be making. Right now, Kalani Copper got at least 9 games with 20 or more, 5 games with 30 or more, And then she got back-to-back games where she dropped 37 and 38. I know she been like that, but she got to be learning from Diana Taurasi to just have no conscience. Coming in at number 2 is Freaky Riki Arike Ogunbowale. This is another player that just got no conscience. She cut right from that cloth of Kobe Bryant. Right now she's shooting 23 shots per game and only hitting at 35%, including 31% from 3, where she makes her money and gets them points from the free throw line. 92% from the line, by far the best in the league, considering how many free throws she takes. As of this podcast recording, Arike has only played in 12 games and scored under 20 in 1 game. She also got 3 games over 30, including a season high of 40 points against the Phoenix Mercury. And at number 1, A'ja Wilson. And let me just say, this girl is number 1 in more ways than one, but for the purposes of this segment, we just gonna talk about her scoring. She hasn't scored under 21 points in no game this year. On top of that, she got 9 games with 28 or more, 4 30-point games, including a season high of 36 against the Dallas Wings. Not only is A'ja Wilson the best scorer in the league, she's also the most efficient scorer out of every player in the top 5. She got the highest field goal percentage, the highest 3-point percentage. Only Arike has a higher free throw percentage. But the way she elevated her game from 3, she averaging 8 more points than she did last year. Her energy level, I can promise you this is one team and one player you do not want to see in the series. Now, to be fair, Kahleah Copper is the leader in total points, but A'ja Wilson, with her average per game, I don't know how they can keep the MVP award from her. But right now, I want to talk about our Rookie of the Year power rankings, starting at number 3 with Cameron Brink. How can you not love Cam's game? She hasn't backed down from no player, MVPs, veterans. She got the same demonstrative personality, but even with that, I must say she has calmed down on cursing out the refs. I think she's bringing a toughness into the Sparks locker room that not even Nneka Ogwumike had, and that's all due respect to Nneka, a former MVP and champion for the Sparks. Despite Cam not really scoring the ball at high volume, she's blocking shots at a rate almost never seen before. And when I do these kind of evaluations, Rookie of the Year, MVP, what I look at mostly is what kind of impact this player has on the team, what kind of leadership do they have. And I think even with De'Erica Hamby on the team, Cam Brink is the leader, she's the vocal leader on the court, she's the defensive anchor, she's the screen setter on offense. Almost everything runs through Cam Brink on both sides of the floor. Cam Brink went down to injury, and I can promise you we miss you, Cam, and we want to see you back. Depending on how much time she missed, I don't want to hold it against her. I still want to see her on the all-rookie team, but we'll have to see how things shake out when she get back. But you see, number 2, we got Caitlin Clark. The only reason Caitlin is not number 1 for me is because her turnovers. And I know everybody want to try to say, well, she just don't got the chemistry with her teammates, but none of these players got chemistry with their teammates, so I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I also have to say, despite the way the players have played, she has the best supporting cast out of all the rookies. Well, I guess you could say Kate Martin does because she played for the Aces, the Champions, but Kate Martin is not on this list. Of the players on this list, Caitlin by far got the best roster. But despite the turnovers and all the media coverage, I must say, Caitlin is playing far better than anybody's giving her credit for. She's been very unselfish, only averaging 12 shots per game, 90% from the free throw line. She's averaging a steal and a block, and she just got so much pressure on her. That could be why she's not shooting the ball particularly well and kind of got the yips with the turnovers. Even though she's not my pick for Rookie of the Year, I still think she's going to run away with the award. My number 1 rookie so far has been Angel Reese. And let me just put on my tinfoil hat for y'all for a second. I don't think there's nothing Angel Reese can do to win this award. The writers and the people that's voting on this award, they already got Caitlin's name inked up on the paper. Angel Reese will have to do something extremely extraordinary to win this award. Averaging a double-double, leading the league in offensive rebounding, that's not going to be nearly enough to beat the Caitlin Clark media train. As of this podcast recording, Angel Reese currently has 7 straight double-doubles, by far the longest streak in the WNBA. And this is the same thing she did at Maryland. This is the same thing she did at LSU. And I also want to say, where's all the people that called me crazy for saying I would draft her number 2? This woman should be in LA right now. I love her in that Chicago blue, but if you watched all these rookies and you can tell me that all the players picked in front of her is better than her, then you're crazy. I'ma stand on this hill and I'ma die on this hill. Angel Reese was the best leader in that draft. She should have went number 2 and very well could have went number 1. Right now, at this part of the show, I want to give some of y'all a first look at some international players. These 3 players that I'm going to showcase for y'all today were all selected in the most recent draft, number 9, number 8, and number 12. Without further ado, we go on down under to Australia and look at that Nadia Punch. Nadia has been balling professionally for a long time, affectionately referred to as the block doctor. Long arms, long body, kinda reminds me of Ezi Magbagor, but a much more well-rounded offensive player. This young woman is only 19 years old, already a silver medalist, a gold medalist. Her team in Australia, the Southside Flyers, let me just give you some of the names of the players she's played with. First, the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, Leilani Mitchell, former WNBA player, Mercedes Russell, current WNBA player. I'm thinking they'll also pick up Georgia Amor for this coming Olympics. If they do, then that's another player that she's going to get to learn from. As of this podcast recording, Nadia has played 27 games for the Southside Flyers. She started in 13 of them. She's averaging 6 points, 3 rebounds, and shooting 40% from the field. She was the 12th pick to the Atlanta Dream in this past WNBA draft. And right now, I think she's too young, but she definitely got the talent to come on over. But now let's talk about a French phenom, Kahleah Lady. One of the coolest things about Kahleah, she attended Tony Parker Academy in France, so you know the basketball knowledge is there. She's currently playing in the LFB, which is the top professional league in France. Only at the age of 20, she's averaging 21 points through the first 4 games this year. She's also 3rd in the league in assists at 5.3. In France, they call them interceptions. In America, we call them steals. But she averaging 2 of those. And on top of that, she's 1st in minutes at 37 minutes a game. And Kahleah Lady, she is one of those confident sharpshooters. She's listed at 5'9", and she uses her speed and quickness to get around screens and shoot threes. If I had to pick a WNBA comp, I think she reminds me a lot of Allie Quigley. I think she'll be a pretty good floor general, knockdown sharpshooter, with the potential to be a starter. The only reason I say that is because the history of the WNBA, not many small guards come into the league dominating, especially ones coming from overseas. And we're going to keep it with the French national team, but this time we're going to talk about Layla Lacan. Layla was drafted right after Kahleah. Kahleah went number 9, Layla went number 10. Now, Layla is not the shooter or scorer that Kahleah is, but I think Layla's game will translate a little bit better to the WNBA. Not only because she's a little bit taller, but she's a little bit scrappier on defense too. For me, Layla actually looks like a WNBA player. I mean, she got the fly natural hair, she wear her uniform like the WNBA players, and every game of hers that I've watched, she plays so under control. She's not one of those players that talk a lot or celebrate a lot. She's just there to get the job done. And I think that'll help her fit in the WNBA locker room whenever she do decide to come over. She's currently in her 4th professional year, 2nd in the LFB, and the stats in France are a lot different. But from what I can see, she's averaging 13 points and 3 pass deflections. She got some really long arms, she's really fast, and she can run the floor. This is one player I think we should definitely keep our eye on. Now, I want to get back to something I was doing when I first started this channel, when I first started this podcast, players to watch for in the upcoming NCAA season. The first 2 players we got I'm going to talk about are going into their sophomore year, and the last player, I just kind of want to talk about what expectations I got for them. And the first player, former Mississippi State Bulldog, current LSU Fighting Tiger, Miracle Shepherd. To be honest, she did not have a really good freshman year. She played behind Jaquelia Jordan, who got most of the minutes, and that's probably why she hit the transfer portal, because Jaquelia Jordan announced that she gonna come back for her 5th season, which probably means she wasn't gonna get no playing time. With Hailey Van Lith being out the way, I think she went to LSU because she felt like, hey, I can get some time here. And I can honestly see why Kim Mulkey picked her up, not only because she scorched Hailey Van Lith in the game State played LSU, but she's kind of like last year Poa, where she'll really get after it on defense, she'll make some head-scratching plays, but then she'll make some great plays. We all know Kim Mulkey is really good at teaching young point guards how to play the game. Miracle definitely got to start shooting the ball better, or she ain't gonna do nothing but ride the Oakwood. She was still recruited to play in the SEC, so that means something, and not just the degree she gonna get. Hopefully she can make good on that basketball scholarship. The next player I want to talk about is from Brazil, actually won back-to-back state championships with Miracle Shepherd, Lady Vasconcelos. And I know some of y'all gonna kill me on this one because you probably never heard of her. She only averaged 1 point for Baylor. But I don't know, Brazil just got a long line of great players that have been able to flourish in college and in the WNBA. And the funny thing about that is, Baylor also got a history of developing great bigs. And I honestly thought this was a good program for her to continue to develop in. But she hit the transfer portal, she committed to go to Illinois. Maybe she'll get a little bit more playing time there, but I don't think the team gonna really be that good. But she's 6'7", she can shoot the ball, block, rebound, anything that you need a big to do. She just really need to be somewhere where she can get the playing time so people can actually see she can play. She only played in 17 games, and other games that I watched, it seemed like she really didn't understand the offense. She kind of was just running from block to block and clogging up the paint. And maybe that's why she wasn't playing as much and didn't get as much playing time, but that's not on her. The Baylor offense is terrible, let's be honest. Now, very quickly before we end the show, I want to talk about what we can expect to see from Aneesah Morrow. I'm expecting her to be the focal point on offense. I'm expecting her to get back to them DePaul days where she was averaging 20 plus, double-double machine. Without Angel Reese in the way, she might lead college basketball in rebounding. Before transferring over to LSU, her final season at DePaul, she averaged 25 and 12. I don't know if she's going to get back to those numbers, but she's going to get very damn close. Aneesah Morrow is also going into her senior year, so if she have a great year, she's going to be very high on our draft board. So stay tuned so you can see where she go in our mock draft. But there you have it, another episode of 345 in the books. If you made it this far in the episode, please like and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. I can promise you whenever you tune in to any of our podcasts, any of our shows, you're going to always hear something that you're not hearing on big networks. I do this thing strictly for the love of the game and to give all the fans and subscribers another outlet to talk about the players that they love. Like I always say, comment your favorite teams, comment your favorite players. I can promise you, I look at y'all comments and some of those players are going to end up on some of our lists in the future. But thank you again for listening and watching. I'm Els the Truth for PRNM. Talk to you on the next one.